PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, sold out here tonight as the Cardinals look to go to 10 games above 500. Manny Sanguin in his famous stand here at the ballpark. Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to Cardinals baseball. Big win for the Cardinals last night. They really grinded it out. Had some key at-bats in that game with the long ball and also some sacrifice flies along the way.
Well, it was good to see the newcomers really contribute. Matt Holliday has been hitting the ball with a vicious vengeance, and he gets another home run. DeRosa's on his home run tear, but more importantly, he had 3 hits on the night. But it was Ryan Ludwig with the sacrifice fly. Watch him fight off this pitch. 0-2 pitch, elevates the ball, really grinds it out. And then Kobe Rasmus with another sacrifice fly, an insurance run late in this ball game. You got to get to this Pirate team, and you always know with your offense now that if you are behind, you still got a chance late in the game to score.
And last night it was Chris Carpenter getting the win for St. Louis. Tonight will it be lucky number 13 for Adam Wainwright? He's 12-7 on the year. Charlie Morton 2 games below 500. The Cardinals and Pirates, Game 2 is next on Fox Sports Midwest. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser Select Full Flavor, 99 calories, the exception to the rule. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. By Auto Tire, for the lowest prices in town. We shop the competitors so you don't have to. By Chevy. See your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at stlchevy.com. And by the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A sold-out crowd here at PNC Park. It's a fireworks night this evening. And also a concert after the game as the Cardinals and the Pirates play in Game 2 of this 3-game series here this evening. A look at Tony La Russa's lineup. Skip Schumacher, the second baseman tonight, followed by Kobe Rasmus. He had a key sac fly in Game 1. Albert Pujols swinging a hot bat again. Then Matt Holliday. He homered here last night. Ryan Ludwig, Mark DeRosa also homered. Yadier Molina, Julio Lugo is your shortstop, and Adam Wainwright is the pitcher batting ninth. The Cardinals face a 25-year-old former Atlanta Brave, Charlie Morton. His numbers brought to you by Marshall Wireless.
The Cardinals last season faced Morton 2 different times and really roughed him up. He has 0-2 with a 21.6 ERA in those 2 starts against the Cardinals, but he does have a power arm, and he was pitching very well at AAA before the trade that brought him to the Pirates, and 2-4 this year for the Buccos.
11 minor league starts this season. Morton went 7-2 with a 2.26 ERA. Millage, McCutchen, and Moss in the outfield. LaRoche, Cedeno, Young, and Jones along the infield. And the battery tonight, Charlie Morton and Ryan Doumit, who homered last night for the Pirates. Morton has been very good in first innings. As a matter of fact, hitters just have 6 hits and 30 at-bats in the first inning of work this year. And we talked about it last night, Al, how important it is for the Cardinals to jump out in front. When they do, more times than not, they win.
Oh, high percentage they win when they get the score first, and unfairly a very high percentage they lose if the opposition scores first.
And Skip Schumacher will lead it off for the Cardinals, hitting .293, 3 home runs and 26 RBIs, and we're underway. Home plate umpire is Tim McClellan. He's been around forever. The crew chief, Mike Estabrook, is at second base, Andy Fletcher at third, and Greg Gibson.
Big pinch hit double for Schumacher in last night's game, and he's just roughed up Pirate pitching this year, almost 480, and in his career over 370.
And a 1-1 pitch to Skip is on its way. Taken outside. Good news to report on the fan that was hurt last night. The foul ball that he reached over the wall and fell awkwardly on his head. He had cuts and scrapes on his forehead and his nose, but everything is okay. As we saw Albert Pujols play quite a role in that and trying to make sure he was okay. Lastings Millage makes the catch, and apparently these fans didn't pay attention. Or they're just a little bit more careful.
Or they're a little more nimble.
Now, at the time we didn't realize it, but the fan that was hurt also had a son that was here with him that has Down syndrome. And of course, Albert has a Down syndrome child, and he was very concerned about that young man. And that pitch is taken for a ball outside by Colby Rasmus, the center fielder tonight. He's hitting .248, 11 home runs and 36 RBIs.
Showed the open the big sacrifice RBI he had last night in the 9th inning, giving an insurance run. 0 for his last 13, but feeling much better.
What do you see with his swing? Is he sweeping through? It doesn't seem to be as aggressive maybe at the time that he was swinging the bat well.
Well, I think that's why we both individually talked to him about his health and the fact that he's lost 18 pounds since spring training. They've kind of changed his diet, and just kind of looked like he was a little bit weak. Now he told us both that that's not the case. He feels very good and strong.
2 balls and a strike. There's Cardinals hitting coach Al McRae. Albert Pujols on deck. And historically, when Tony La Russa is trying to get somebody to get going and swing the bat and get something positive from them, they will hit right in front of Albert.
And it seems like it's the case right now that Rosa has more success not hitting in that 2-hole, and so Kobe fits the bill.
3-2 now.
Good swing there. Tony's really battling a little cough, isn't he?
Well, we saw that in the interviews with Pat Paris, and in talking with Tony today, and he met with the media, he had a little bit of a cough going too. Here's a 3-2 pitch to Colby Rasmus. Popped up. Shallow left center field. Millage is there. McCutchen, the center fielder, calls him off to make the catch. And it brings in Pujols.
Center fielder taking charge. And we'll see if they have that same defense this evening that they did last year when Albert and Holiday, where they really bunched their outfielders to the point where it makes no sense. And what I mean by that is it's almost like, particularly with Millage and McCutchen out in left field, you got 2 guys that are covering the same spot.
And McCutchen, they say, can really cover some ground. Good speed out there in center field. First pitch to Albert Pujols. Swung on and missed. Now Pujols is moving up the charts in Cardinals history all over the place. Past Rogers Hornsby, 4th all-time on the Devils list. He now is 8 shy of tying Joe Medwick for 3rd on that list. And he also has 18 total bases on this road trip alone. That gives him 3,118 career total bases. That's 20 shy of Enos Slaughter, and that'll be 4th all-time on the Cardinals list. Amazing the kind of career he's already had. One of the reasons he has piled up those numbers is playing against Pittsburgh and playing at PNC Park. Since this ballpark is opened up, he has done unbelievable damage. 1-1 pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Pujols. You see the career against the Pirates, 137 games and 38 home runs, which leads all active players against Pittsburgh. And hitting .369.
A little less than a full year, and great numbers.
1-2 pitch. Pujols in the air to right field. Morton has a 1-2-3 inning. Adam Wainwright to the mound when we come back. Wainwright trying to pick up win number 13 here tonight. And the Cardinals and the Pirates here in game 2. Adam Wainwright has worked at least 6 innings in each of his last 21 starts, and tonight his team leading 24th start of the season. He has just been tremendous. Strikeouts, the innings, and he has been reliable since opening day. His numbers brought to you by Marshall Wireless, trying to get win number 13.
Tied for the National League lead with those 12.
Couldn't hold up, and that's a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. So he has 140 strikeouts. That leads the Cardinal pitchers. That's 6th in the National League. And team high 12 wins, tops in the National League as well. 0-2 pitch to McCutchen. Goodbye. And that's how we start the game for Wainwright, with a good breaking ball and a strikeout of Andrew McCutchen.
Adams got 7 losses on the season, but he's combined 3.75 ERA in those 7 losses.
McCutchen, Millage, and Jones, and Domet, Young, Moss, LaRoche, Cedeno, and Charlie Morton. So Lastings, Millage hitting .228. Young player, was considered the top prospect by the Mets a few years ago, and now here he is on his 3rd team. He's been with Washington and now Pittsburgh. Fastball in there for a strike. Keys to the game, and there's what Al was talking about. 2 or fewer earned runs in 5 of his 7 losses. So even when he hasn't won, he's pitched well.
He's gotten a lot of run support, but there have been many times when he's gotten virtually none.
2.79 ERA overall, which is 7th best in the National League. 0-2 pitch to Millage, and a check swing. Held up, did not go.
Not a bad pitch right there, and almost got young hitter to offer.
Oddly enough, in 2008, Wainwright struggled against the Pirates as he had an ERA that was close to 9. Here at PNC Park, he has been perfect with a record of 2-0. Millage grounds to short. Lugo makes the play. So quickly, 2 outs, and a look at the defense behind Adam Wainwright tonight with Holliday, Rasmus, and Ludwig in the outfield. DeRosa, Lugo, Schumacher, and Albert Pujols over at first, and the battery is Wainwright and Molina. Brings in their first baseman, Garrett Jones, 12 home runs, and he has 19 RBIs to go along with a .286 average, and he has made quite an impression so far with all these home runs.
Rookie of the month of July in the National League. He's the fastest player in team history to reach 10 home runs in a season. He did so in the first 19 games. He's only played 25 games in July. He hit those 17 RBIs. Now leads the National League rookies in home runs now with 12.
No balls at 2 strikes. We talk so much about Colby Rasmus and his potential for Rookie of the Year, and they've got this guy here who now is going to be in that conversation. And also take a look at McCutchen, their leadoff man. He's put up good numbers, and he wasn't called up until very beginning of June. Might go to a pitcher though this year in the National League.
Yeah, I mean, Jones wasn't called up until June 30th, so you can see that Colby, who's many times you might consider him as the 4th outfielder. It's tough for me to vote for him as the Rookie of the Year because he's not playing every day.
And a ground ball that's foul off his foot. 1-2 the count.
Jones originally signed by Atlanta, released, then signed with Minnesota, picked up by these guys. He had got to the big leagues in 07 with Minnesota, and then became a minor league free agent, signed with the Pirates, and now they're getting a real good look at him.
Getting a look at a lot of young players now.
Oh yes. Who are these guys?
That's the question that their fans are asking too. One thing they have done though, they've taken players that have had major league experience and traded them to get players that they will have the rights to for a number of years. So if they like what they see, they can keep them around.
Yeah. What they traded, the guys under control of the Pirates had about 20 plus years. The guys that they got in return have over 100 years under the control of the Pirates, meaning up to free agency. So, but if you really look at it though, these Pirate guys know that they can stick around and have a couple good years, but if they have really good years, they get traded off.
That's right. Here's a 1-2 pitch in the dirt, 2-2. I mean, how many times can you sell that we're rebuilding to the fan base?
Supposedly, the fans are understanding this time around, but they're about to set a professional record, 17 losing seasons.
Here's Pujols. He'll take it himself and applies the tag. He got him. So the Pirates go in order. Matt Holliday due up first when we come back. If you're traveling and can't catch the Cardinals TV broadcast, catch all the action on your computer at MLB.tv. Over 100 live out-of-market games per week. For complete details, visit STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. You would have been up late last night with the Red Sox and Yankees. They were scoreless late into that game until extra innings was decided by Alex Rodriguez. And tonight, Yankees lead 3-0 over Boston. That's in the 8th inning. And And the Yankees trying to get a little separation now from Boston.
4.5 game lead for the Bronx Bombers over Boston, so that's a big series.
Now they've added to it, so they could go to 5.5 games in front and have the best record in baseball if they win. It would give them 68 wins. They'd be 68-42. Here's Matt Holliday. Outstanding first game of the series. Picked up his 4th home run, a 2-run homer, and 2 more RBIs, numbers 12 and 13. But really, it's what doesn't show up as big as a home run that made the difference in the game, was him stealing that base and advancing on the throwing air and then coming around to score.
And remember, he reached first base on an infield swinging bunt.
1-2 the count on Matt Holliday, with Ludwig on deck and then Mark DeRosa.
But once again, the Buccos have lost 6 straight games, 11 of 13, and they just keep on making little mistakes to help out the opposition.
He set up inside in the 1-2 pitch. He jammed him. Popped up, and the first baseman wants it. He's got it. Garrett Jones. Let's go back to last night, and a key at bat for the Cardinals, Ryan Ludwig, picking up a sacrifice fly RBI in his 69th of the year.
The score was tied, and so you can see he goes out there. There's a breaking ball, and Holliday steals on it. It's an error. The catcher allows him to go to third. He fouls this one off. It's 0-2, and then he fights the breaking ball off. It's inside, fights it off, gets the sacrifice fly, and the game winner.
Well, you may have noticed, and I talked to Ryan before the game about this. He actually choked up with 2 strikes, something you wouldn't normally see a middle of the lineup type hitter do, especially this day and age of baseball. But he's been doing that for about the last month and a half or so, and he said he rarely had done that in his career. But he decided to have a little different approach with 2 strikes, and one of the things that he wanted to do was to choke up, and certainly in RBI situations, the last thing he said he wants to do is strike out. So by choking up, he puts the ball in play.
That's right, and that was his 69th RBI. So his number is 18 home runs now, 69 RBIs.
And his average is on the climb as well. It came in at 268, and that's a base hit up the middle.
Tried to go in on him, and then went away, and he hits one right back up the middle. Gordon has a very good sinker, and the first 4 outs were all in the air, so finally gets a ball down, and it's a base hit.
Brings in DeRosa, homered last night. His average is at 212. 8 home runs, 13 RBIs, and you mentioned this might be the best fit for him, not hitting second but dropping down in this lineup for the Cardinals.
Look at his numbers. You know, the 7th spot in the order is really where he has blossomed.
You have to wonder if Tony thought about doing that again tonight, with Molina hitting in that 7th spot and not DeRosa.
Right, but either way, you kind of put him into an RBI situation, and he responded last night with 3 hits and 4 hard hit balls.
One ball, 1 strike with 1 out and a runner at first. So DeRosa, since the trade, 8 home runs. Kind of all or nothing right now for the Cardinal third baseman.
Has gotten over the Mendoza line now as a Cardinal, batting .212. You saw his overall numbers, 21 home runs and 63 RBIs. So, you know, he has been producing all season long, but I'm sure that batting average, he'd like to see it climb. Cardinals
have made a decision about their 5th starter again, which will come around on Tuesday night. That will be Todd Wellemeyer. It's tapped foul. Back behind home plate, so Wellemeyer is the choice for the Cardinals. Dave Duncan saying he's the best option right now for us, and a little vote of confidence for Todd, trying to get him back on track. And after his 2 good innings of work against the Mets the other night, and a key win in extra innings, Wellemeyer threw a bullpen today, so he will start on Tuesday night.
And listening to Pat's interview with Kyle McClellan, I was happy to hear that all the bullpenners told him he got demoted back to the rotation.
1-2 pitch is fought off, slowly hit to second. Only play is to go to first. So Delwyn Young goes to Garrett Jones. Advancing, it's Ludwig to second base. And a chance for Yadier Molina, who's been very good in his career, even when he hasn't had a great overall average. Runners in scoring position, for the most part, he has delivered with good numbers. Cardinals move back into sole possession of first place with their come-from-behind win last night in the series opener here at PNC. And the road trip record now stands at 2-1. They split with New York and won the first game of this series. 2 outs and a runner at second base. Breaking ball taken low.
Morton has a very good two-seam fastball. That's the sinking one. He will elevate the ball with a four-seamer, and has a slider, the curveball, and changeup. Power arm, and they say when he is throwing well, he'll have that velocity in the 93, 94 mile an hour range, and we've seen that tonight. A good breaking ball there.
1 ball, 1 strike.
He's only 25 years of age.
He was part of the Nate McLouth deal with the Atlanta Braves.
They got 2 other players, including a young man that Jim Leland said that will be a future All-Star and a center fielder, so maybe he just totally replaces. He's only 20 years of age, Gorky Hernandez.
1-1 pitch is popped foul. They felt with the emergence of McCutchen in center field that gave them some flexibility with McLouth, who they projected to be a 20-25 home run guy, hit around 260, 270, and play solid defense, but not bring the flair and the flash and the speed and the potential of what McCutchen can do. And by the way, he doesn't bring the paycheck either.
No, not at all. And it's a little bit surprising because they did give McLouth the multi-year contract and $1 million signing bonus in spring training. So
Molina flies out to right. Brandon Moss is there. Cardinals strand their first runner of the night. Ryan Domit, their cleanup man, will face Wainwright when we return. No score at bottom of the second. Final already in the National League as San Francisco beats Cincinnati 4-2, and we'll see the Reds on Monday night at Busch Stadium with a half-price night coming up as Domit looks at his strike. Domit, Young, and Moss, and that means Scott Rowland's return to St. Louis. And an 0-1 pitch. That tails in there for a strike. 0-2. And we've got news concerning game 2 that we will reveal shortly. Involves an NBA star. Domit had to reach for it with 2 strikes. Pujols flips to Wainwright for the out. So that's 4 up and 4 down for Adam. Each night on the Toyota Cardinals Live pregame show, we're looking back at the Tony La Russa era by counting down the 50 finest Cardinals moments under Tony. Tune into Toyota Cardinals Live before every game on Fox Sports Midwest, and join Fox Sports Midwest on Facebook to tell us what you think. What plays, what moments should be on that list, as Tony is always cleaning up that dugout. And that pitch is taken for a strike by Young. Delwyn Young, the second baseman, hitting .299, 5 home runs, 28 RBIs, and an 0-1 pitch. Young is now the second baseman with Freddie Sanchez in San Francisco. Moss on deck. And here comes an 0-2 pitch from Adam Wainwright. That tails in, but just a little bit up. 1-2 the count, as Wainwright has been using his fastball a lot more here the last 3 to 4 weeks or so. Real key for him. And velocity has been up too. 1-2 pitch. There's the breaking ball, and Pujols is busy so far. Takes it himself. 2 outs, and it brings in Moss, the right fielder.
Adam really looks like he's got good command and off to a very good start. Sometimes it takes pitchers a little time to get acclimated to the mound and their pitching performance, but right out of the bullpen, he's got his stuff.
And we forget how well Pujols plays defense, and You just take for granted how good he is with the glove over there at first base because of all the home runs and what he does at the plate, in particular with this numbers at this ballpark. But defensively, Albert has put together another solid year. And when he does commit an error, it's usually an error of being very aggressive too.
Yeah, and really one of the things that you like most about him is he's not afraid to go after any ball. If you're afraid, then you're going to make errors. But when you're very aggressive, you usually make a lot. You know, your range is so much greater. You get to so many more balls. I think we can live with his occasional error because of his production.
Oh, I think so. We'll overlook any errors that he might commit. 3-1 the count. Now the other side, you know, Albert's a veteran, but for the Pirates, it's really just teaching at this level right now. And last night was a pretty good example of that, with the throw that got away on the stolen base attempt by Holiday, and then the lack of having a player ready to back that up. I know some of the folks were disappointed on the Pirates side that was not backed up a little bit better, not allowing Holiday to advance to third base and eventually get that key run.
Now that ball did go a little bit sideways towards right field.
3-2 is hit in the air out to left. Holiday, speaking of him, makes the catch. Lugo, Wainwright, and Schumacher coming up. There's no score. Here's the big news for Tuesday. Superstar Shaquille O'Neal will be at Busch Stadium prior to next Tuesday night's game against the Reds. Shaq will be throwing out an honorary first pitch, and he will also be promoting his new reality TV series, Shaq Versus. Shaq will be challenging, by the way, Albert Pujols to a baseball competition, which will take place later in the week. And you can purchase tickets for Tuesday night's Cardinals game at STLCardinals.com, and that will be the night that Todd Wellemeyer gets the start for St. Louis.
I believe it's a home run and hitting contest, and I think I'm going to go with Albert.
Is that what it is, huh? Home run hitting with Shaq, who has proclaimed it's now time to get a ring for the king. He's trying to get a ring for LeBron James. Now with Cleveland. 1-1 pitch to Julio Lugo. I get a kick out of Shaq. I find him to be entertaining. I'm not a huge NBA fan, but when I see him, I watch. I love listening to in the interviews. I think he's funny.
I just think he's a
big kid.
A credit to the Police Officers Association.
I wonder if he still has his badge.
Should.
Hopefully we'll have a chance to catch up with Shaq on Tuesday night. Cardinals on Monday night. Kyle Loesch and Johnny Cueto. Cueto is 8-9. And then Wednesday, Carpenter and Homer Bailey as we wrap up that series with Cincinnati. A lot of promotions coming up against the Padres on that homestand as well. Lugo, another changeup, swung on and missed. Good pitch. That's the first strikeout tonight.
Throw away the numbers that Morton had against the Cardinals last season. He's got good stuff tonight. He's off to a very good start, mixing all of his pitches, changing speeds, and you have to see that trade if they're young. They got a young 20-year-old, I think, pitcher. They also got the 20-year-old outfielder, and if you get Morton in this deal, that's a pretty good trade for the Pirates.
Wainwright to short. Cedeno. What a play, and the pick on the other end by Garrett Jones as they take the hit away. Doesn't get much better than that. Outstanding play. Ronnie Cedeno to Garrett Jones.
Well, we thought at one time Ronnie Cedeno would be doing this for many years, wearing the Cubs uniform, but he was traded on the bench in Seattle. Now he's starting every day, and a good play at the other end as Jones picks one in the dirt. But very nice play, and I'm sure that will get the attention and appreciation of the Pirate fans.
Here's Schumacher with very good numbers this season against Pittsburgh. He flied out to left his first time up, and that's a changeup that floats in there for a strike. Oh, 1 pitch. 1-1. Skip Schumacher, the 29-year-old second baseman of the Cardinals.
Mentioned very good numbers against this Pirate this season, better than his career average, and his career average is very good.
And his career against the Buccos at 370, and here in 09 he's hitting 478 at the start of play tonight against Pittsburgh. 2 balls and a strike with 2 outs and nobody on. They're throwing that changeup a little bit more here in this 3rd inning. That was a changeup there, maybe. And it was a base hit for Schumacher, a 2-out hit, and it brings in Colby Rasmus with Pujols on deck. Cardinals with just their 2nd hit tonight. The other by Ludwig back in the 2nd. Colby fly to center his first time up.
For a guy that's got a good sinking fastball, his best fastball. A lot of pitches were up that were hit in the air, and he's gotten a couple down, and both of them have been base hits through the middle.
Well, they saw the Cardinals late last night want to be aggressive once the lefty was out of the game against Domet. Let's see if they want to do that here. Try to get something going with 2 down. See there, he's got pretty good movement on these pitches.
Well, that's it. You know, they know he's got a big plus arm, but you know, he's young, inconsistency, and they just banking that he'll put it together, and he can be in this environment. You know, he doesn't have to look over his shoulder. He knows he's going to be in the rotation. He's going to get the ball every 5 days. If he has a bad game, he learns from it, but he doesn't take it out of the rotation.
Yankees beat Boston. Now they hold on 5-0 in that ball game. Toronto over Baltimore 3-2. Angels over Texas. Key game there, as Texas is right in the middle of things in the West. 3-2 was the final there. The Angels won. There's a base hit into right field. Runners at first and second now for Albert Pujols with 2 down.
Good for Kobe. Breaks that 0-for-14 streak. He had the sacrifice fly last night that he hit with authority, and now 2 men on, the 2 outs in front of Albert.
Pujols with 3 base hits last night. First time tonight. Flied out to right. 21 career homers here at this ballpark. It's tied for 11th all time, and that is first among non-Pirates players.
Doman way out in front of the plate, looking in the dugout like, okay, should we walk him?
And the thing is, it's not a crazy thing to say with
well,
the way that he has swung the bat.
But it is crazy with the protection with Holiday.
Just asking for a big inning.
Yes.
I'm not saying I would do it, but it is part of the, the conversation that goes on in there.
I know you, the manager.
I'm putting him on. He would never swing the bat with me.
And I don't think you would be very popular with the fans.
No, I wouldn't.
Albert Pujols fans. Strategy may work for you more times than not, though.
0-1 pitch to Albert. 0-2 now.
But Dan, this is the only way you learn. If you're a young pitcher, 1, you got to be out on the mound, but 2, you've got to challenge people in these situations. And the best part about it, he's 0-2. Now he can try and expand the strike zone. Use one of his pitches down and away. Try and get him off balance and get himself out. Good luck.
Here's a breaking ball. 1-2. See Jason LaRue and his teammates in that dugout. They watch very carefully when number 5 steps in. They're not the only ones that stop. The fans seem to stop what they do. They all want to get a glimpse at Pujols. 1-2 pitch.
Well, you can just see Albert really must be locked in right now.
That was a pretty tough pitch.
Great road trip. Well, there's 2 good pitches right there that he's laid off of. He's 9 for 14 on the road trip. Another reason why you pay attention, but check swing coming right at you.
It's Carpenter there on the left. And obviously Jason LaRue right in front. A 2-2 pitch. See, right there, though, is where he's so good, too, Al, is that he might have been expecting something else. And yet he's able to make the adjustment on that swing just to get a piece and to stay alive. And this season on a 2-2 count, he's hitting .321. 4 of his home runs have been hit with a 2-2, and he's struck out 12 times. The league average .190.
Well, Albert is so good that he has that ability to look for an off-speed pitch, and even on a fastball or something that he can foul it off, just keeping himself up there.
And time is called. Inning started with a strikeout of Lugo. Then Wainwright was robbed. Back-to-back singles by Schumacher and Rasmus, and 2-2 the count on Pujols, with runners at first and second. Albert rips it towards third. LaRoche takes the hit and RBI away. Good defense by the Pirates here in the top of the third. It started with Ronnie Cedeno taking the hit away from Adam Wainwright. Nice pick over at first by Garrett Jones, and LaRoche to his left takes the hit away from Albert. Midway through 3, and there's no score. Here's a third baseman, Andy LaRoche, who just robbed Albert Pujols. Good defense by the Pirates. Takes a couple of hits away and takes the lead away from the Cardinals, too.
LaRoche has 11 errors on the season, but they felt, had some of the Pirate coaches tell me, when they had Jack Wilson, Freddie Sanchez, and Andy's brother Adam at first base, they felt like they had the best infield defense in the league.
And Andy was part of the Manny Ramirez deal about this time last year. Playing the Futures game in Detroit in 2005. Of course, his brother's now been traded a couple of times already this year. Last year in 49 games only hit .152, and this season he has his average up to .260. Get off to a very slow start. Very similar to what his brother does, too. There's the breaking ball lifted into shallow center, backing up the shortstop, Julio Lugo, and he puts it away. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. By the Casino Queen Hotel and Casino, home of the Lucis slots. And by the new Third Pound Angus Burgers. They are here. Try one for yourself today. And it's only at McDonald's.
And refresh my memory, that was a 3-player trade or 3-team trade.
Yeah, Brandon Moss was part of that too, with Bay and Manny Ramirez. So you had the Dodgers, Boston, and Pittsburgh all involved. Complicated deal to try to figure out all the money and the contracts at that time, and who gets what, who's paying for what. In the air to center field on another breaking ball, and Colby is there for the out. 2 away, and it brings in the pitcher Morton. Wainwright is sharp tonight.
Well, he's well on his way, as you mentioned. 21 straight starts. He's pitched at least 6 innings, and his pitch count has to be down tonight. I know it's only in the 4th inning, but he does look extremely sharp.
Cardinals and Pirates meeting this weekend for the 4th of their 5 series meetings here in 09. Cardinals will come back to PNC one more time in early September. Cardinals trying to get their 7th win against the Buccos this year. Strike 2. Redbirds will have Holiday, Ludwig, and DeRosa coming up in the top of the 4th. No score here at PNC Park. And an 0-2 pitch. Another curveball, and the second strikeout for Wainwright tonight. That's 9 up and 9 down. After 3, no score. What do you know? It's brought to you by Radio Shack. July 30th, 1936, the Boston Red Sox became the first team to travel by plane going between Chicago and St. Louis. What do you know? Brought to you by Radio Shack, and now every team travels privately with chartered flights.
Or train.
Which we did, which was a lot of fun.
It really was.
I really enjoyed that.
I think C.J. Cherry, outstanding traveling secretary, was very pleased when everybody enjoyed that trip.
Here's Matt Holliday. Well, if one of the players was not happy, he would certainly hear about it. Holliday, Ludwig, and DeRosa. And the Cardinals, you always hear about it from players that come over in trades. They talk about just being treated first class. The way that we travel, the way that we stay in hotels, and how the accommodations are handled. Things are done very, very well. What it does, it allows the players to concentrate on playing the game.
Is that what it does?
It's one of the things. 0-1 pitch. Hit out of play, and that's strike two. Holliday, first time up. Hopped out to first. Cardinals trying to go to 10 games above 500. And Tony always talks about increments of 5. Get to 5 games above, then 10, and so forth and so on. 0-2 pitch, breaking ball, and a called third strike. That's that late call by Tim McClellan. He's done that for a number of years. Strikeout number 2 for Charlie Morton.
I think it was a strike, big breaking ball, but a little bit up, but still in the strike zone. But that delayed call, very tough on play-by-play men.
Yes, it is. This is Shaquille O'Neal's hitting instructor. He apparently is going to help Shaq next week when Shaq makes his way to St. Louis. I mean, that is a mammoth strike zone that Shaq would have. But if you called it truly how the strike zone is supposed to be called, I mean, that's about a 6-foot strike zone.
Yes, it would be.
As Ludwig reaches for it, and it's foul, and Ryan grounded one through the box and picked up a single his first time up.
Now is Dave McKay going to pitch to Albert Pujols?
All bets are off if Dave McKay is throwing to Albert. There's not a chance for Shaq.
Let me tell you, there's not a chance for Shaq, period.
I agree with you.
Even with his illustrious hitting coach.
There's a curveball swung on and missed. Boats are starting to gather out in the Allegheny as they know it's fireworks night.
Apparently, between the concert and the fireworks, it'll last about an hour.
Here's a 1-2. And Ludwig hits it down the right field line. It is slicing, and that ball is just foul. Nearly a ground rule double. Good to see the way that Ludwig has really bounced back after his slow start. And remember, he got hurt here at PNC Park. Went diving for a ball, hurt his leg. Did not go on a rehab assignment. His timing was off. He wasn't playing every day. Very tough for him to come back.
In May, he ended up hitting about 165, and in June it was 200, and now he's got his average at 270.
And 69 RBIs. That's 6th best among outfielders in the National League.
18 home runs, 69, the 270 average. I mean, you project that out over the rest of the season, and you'll be fine.
And he waves at that pitch and strikes out. So 2 strikeouts in a row and 3 tonight.
So far, the second time through the order may not quite pan out for Charlie Morton, but we think he has a little better stuff tonight than he has previously shown.
Cardinals are 2 for 5 here the second time through, and remember that 1 out outside the strikeouts was an outstanding play by their third baseman. Here's DeRosa with 2 down.
That was in the 3rd inning, but here in the 4th inning, he's looked like a much different pitcher, striking out the first 2 men.
2 outs, nobody on for Mark DeRosa. Grounded out to second, first time up, and time is called. Those are the season numbers for Mark. There's a curveball. Strike 2. I don't remember his breaking ball or changeup being nearly this good as we've seen tonight.
No, and I think a lot of it, talking with some of the Pirate people, is if his velocity was going to be in the low 90s, he was going to be very effective. Hanger there.
Hit to deep right. And out of play.
That's all 4 pitches. He has a power arm. Just talking about the inconsistencies, but I'm thinking, with the numbers he had at AAA this year, which I don't put a lot of stock in, but he was 7-2 with an ERA of 2.20. He was doing things a lot better than he had in the past.
Here's the 0-2 pitch as they set up inside, and DeRosa fights it off.
That's one thing I've noticed too, is he's been able to get in on the right-handed batters.
A live look at downtown Pittsburgh.
It almost looks like a painting, doesn't it?
Sure does. Clayton Mortensen, by the way, making his debut with Oakland tonight, and they lead 3-0 against Kansas City. That is foul. Clayton, of course, part of that deal to acquire Matt Holliday. Cleveland just recently called up Jess Todd, and Cleveland is winning their ball game tonight early in the 3rd, 2-1 over the Chicago White Sox. And an 0-2 pitch to DeRosa. Good at bat here. Base hit into right field. And DeRosa aboard with a 2-out base hit. One off some 0-2 pitches and picks up the single.
Starting to swing the bat a lot better, and that's good to see. Is he going to provide even more protection? He just hitting becomes contagious. Nobody really feels like they can have to shoulder the load, even though Albert and Holliday can. But the other guys, the lesser hitters, don't feel like they're compelled to do it. They can just relax and contribute.
But to put in perspective what DeRosa has meant power-wise, he has hit over a third of the Cardinals' 21 home runs since July 20th. I mean, that's hard to believe that he's provided that kind of impact power-wise.
Yeah, 8 of the 21.
1-0 pitch. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Julio Lugo on deck. Be interested to see how this pitcher, Charlie Morton, would want to go after Lugo after changeup after changeup. And we saw the graphic second time through how he struggles, and to see the adjustment he makes, if any, with Julio Lugo.
And remember, too, that the 3rd time through the order, that average even went higher.
Molina, base hit into left. So again, with 2 outs, the Cardinals pick up back-to-back singles and another chance here to grab an early lead. It's a great promotion the Cardinals have coming up. For every win during the next homestand starting on Monday night against the Reds, that half-price night, fans can take $6 off Lowe's box seats for the Astros series August 25th, 26th, and 27th. So this could lead to a discount as high as $36, meaning you go to the games free. Stay tuned and save. For every win the Cardinals get, you get $6 off those tickets coming up against Houston. For more information, visit STLCardinals.com.
What's our buddy Joe Strom doing to himself?
I'm sure he'd be happy to pass out those tickets.
I know. And he's rooting for the Cardinals to win.
First pitch to Lugo was a breaking ball.
That's a bit creative, isn't it?
Well, I know that other teams have done that in the last couple of years and had good success, and now the Cardinals winning all these games at home. Hopefully that means a free ticket. 1-0 pitch. Another breaking ball. So we saw the changeups first time through, and this time now it's a couple of curveballs, and it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Big difference looking at video and then having a couple of bats and seeing what it looks like live. And right now, but the good thing is for Morton is the fact that he's keeping them all singles.
Now here's a situation. You've got first and second. Joe Kerrigan is out to visit. You do have Wainwright on deck. Do you feel comfortable throwing a 2-0 changeup here? Do you mind walking him to bring up Wainwright, knowing that he's a good hitting pitcher, and then young Charlie Morton all of a sudden can have a big inning? Allow one at least.
The mindset of a pitcher is you got to believe that you can go after any 8th place hitter and retire him. With 2 outs, doesn't matter if you got a couple guys on, you just have to execute. And you know, if you're going to pitch at this level, you have to be able to throw any of your pitches when you're behind in the count. But that's easier said than done. The winners are able to do it. You know, young pitchers don't have that ability.
2-0 the count on Lugo. Runners at first and second. It's inside, and it's a changeup that time. So 3 balls and no strikes.
You know, in my mind, you know, they're probably sitting there going, okay, you know, if you walk him, don't worry, you got the pitcher up there. But I would rather be very aggressive, go attack the 8th place hitter, get him out, and then know I've got the pitcher leading off. But you just make Lugo that much more dangerous by falling behind 3-0.
Next pitch to Julio Lugo. Taken for a strike.
Inability of young pitchers to spot their fastball, to know how to throw fastballs, you know, down in zones, you know, in the strike zone, and not be afraid that you're going to give up a, you know, have them hit it at the ground right at somebody.
Up and into Lugo, and now the bases are loaded. Everything you knew about fantasy football is about to change. Introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football with more customized features and new ways to play. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN and join the next generation of fantasy football. Cardinals now with the bases loaded. Morton issues his first walk tonight, and this comes after he struck out the first 2 in the inning. Second time through this lineup, he's given up 4 base hits. He's struck out 2 and walked 1, and a chance here for Wainwright. He was robbed by Cedeno at short his first time up.
You know, he can get a hold of one, and he can hit a gapper, if not over the fence.
First pitch to Adam. A swing and a miss. Adam is a terrific athlete. He was a high school star in football, played basketball, obviously baseball, and now he is considered one of the best golfers on the team too.
Oh, well, you just don't know the latest, because Wellemeyer claims that now as he beat him at Oakmont on Thursday.
There's the curveball pulled foul. These guys shooting the low 80s, high 70s. Good golfers.
Adam hit 82, Wellemeyer 81. Hawksworth was also, as normally, Loesch goes with him, but he was away. But now Wellemeyer told me that he's the best golfer on the team because he recently beat Loesch, and now he beat Wainwright. So, and I asked Adam about it. He said he had a good day.
0-2 the count.
He said Hawksworth was better than his 98 score.
And Wainwright on an 0-2 pitch pulls it foul.
And by the way, they did play from the tips.
So 0-2 with the bases loaded. We're scoreless here in the 4th. Single by DeRosa. Single by Molina. Walk to Lugo. Cap out there into left center field. Wainwright breaks his bat. Cedeno backhands, goes to third for the force. Cardinals strand the bases loaded midway through 4, and already the Cardinals have stranded 6 on the night. It's time to bring you up to speed with the AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Game 2, the Cardinals and the Pirates were scoreless here at PNC Park. Bottom of the 4th rolls in. Cardinals already stranded 6 so far tonight. Back to the top of the lineup for the Buccos. McCutchen, Millage, and Garrett Jones. McCutchen struck out swinging first time up, shows bunt, and looks at a strike.
Had over 400 with 5 home runs in his last 12 games here at his home ballpark.
They set up inside, and the 0-1 pitch is well in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tim Lincecum leads in ERA 2.20 of San Francisco. Matt Cain, his teammate, right behind him, and then Chris Carpenter. Adam Wainwright is 7th right now in the National League. Wainwright tied for the league lead in wins with Marquis and Cain and Lincecum. Johan Santana. It's taken high, and he comes in 2nd in innings pitched. And the Cardinals, as a staff, have worked a National League high nearly 690 innings coming into play tonight.
Of course, the benefit of that is it keeps your bullpen well rested. I mentioned last night's ball game with no real clear cut favorite in the Cy Young race. That's still yet to be determined.
McCutchen, ground ball. Lugo has to be quick. Pujols, no, not in time. And the first base hit for the Pirates, an infield hit by McCutchen. Boy, he can fly.
He's got great speed. He's 22 years of age. He was on the Florida State High School relay 440 relay championship team. And give you an idea, played football, baseball, and track at high school. He is real talent that everybody pretty much assesses that he is the best of the young group of Pirates right now.
There's Lasting's Millage, who grounded out to short first time up. Will they even test Molina? What a test that would be, as McCutchen is a threat to steal over there at first base. Danny, Emma, and Mara Giesler watching tonight, watching Cardinals baseball, and hoping for a Cardinal win tonight, as Cardinals are looking for win number 61. Runner at first and nobody out. The throw back and in there safely is McCutchen. He's got to get dirty, doesn't he?
You would think so with the throwing arm of Molina, but he does barely get back. Perry Hill, I'm sure the first base coach is screaming at him to get back, as just got that toe in ahead of the tag. Here you see Perry Hill, another recognized, very talented infield instructor.
Now, as a pitcher, though, as you all know, Al, you can't get too concerned with McCutchen over there at first base. Got to focus on the hitter, too.
That's right. You keep on messing around with that, you split your concentration. The likelihood of making your good pitches to the plate are diminished.
Wainwright, a lot of times we use that slide step to the plate. For fans that are out there, explain exactly what the slide step is.
Well, the slide step has been created to try and deliver the ball quicker. Instead of have the high leg kick where the base runner can steal, you kind of just slide that leg. You might bring it up 6 inches, but really when you look at it, Lou Brock did a study, said of guys that really implemented the slide step, they were all sub 500 pitchers, because they sacrifice their stuff going to the plate. They become more of using their arm and throwing, not utilizing their body. They got a great weapon behind the plate in Yadier Molina. Just keep that guy a little bit close. If they want to steal, fine. I'll take my chances. Yadi throws him out.
1-2 to count. Pinheiro and Molina, that combination, they have yet to allow a steal this year. And they tried to steal, the Mets did, against that combination this past week on the road trip, and Yadi threw out 2.
Kind of a rule of thumb is you have somebody 6'4" or taller, they're a little slower to the plate. The Carpenter is an exception to that. And Wainwright's such a good athlete.
Lifted out to left field, going back to make the catch, Holiday. And there's one away. The Cardinals get into postseason play. It's these two at the top. Adam Wainwright, Chris Carpenter. And how do they measure up against Lincecum and Cain, or Marquis and Cook, Gallardo and Looper?
With Wainwright winning tonight, they would equal Lincecum and Cain with the 24 victories. Interesting that you also have Looper and Marquis, 2 former Cardinals, on that list.
Also, you have to remember that Carpenter missed 5 weeks.
That's right. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that would deny the Cardinals are in very good shape where they're 1-2.
There's Garrett Jones, and you saw a big swing and miss there by Jones. They say he can spray the ball. He's got power all over the place, not just a pull guy.
We saw his home run last night was to left field, wasn't it?
Left center. Is that telling to you that you get your leadoff man and McCutchen on, you probably put him in a 40-yard dash, and he'd beat anybody in the league, and yet they haven't even tried to steal on Molina.
And he has been successful 9 out of 10 times.
Exactly.
But I think it's just respect that, one, Adams paying enough attention there that he's not real comfortable, and the respect they have for Molina's throwing arm.
Time he went, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pinheiro gets the start tomorrow, and we head back home, and again it's a half-price night. Still some seats available as Scott Rowland and the Reds return on Monday night at Busch Stadium.
Sometimes young players, are afraid to make mistakes, and that's not the trait you want of a good base stealer, that you're afraid to run.
The Cardinals, and you visit with opposing managers and coaches, and they'll tell you one of the things that really doesn't stand out in the stats is just what a good job the coaching staff on the other side, meaning the Cardinals, do in trying to control the running game. Now, a lot of that obviously is due to what Yadier is able to do and his reputation, but the Cardinals will vary up how long they hold the baseball on the mound. There's a mistake with 1-2, and McCutchen stays put at second base, so first and second and 1 out. And spend the night under the lights of Busch Stadium. The Cardinals campout returns Friday, September 25th, right at the end of the year, courtesy of Bass Pro Shops and Tracker Boats. For tickets, call 314-345-9000 or visit stocardinals.com/campout. It's a base hit for Garrett Jones, and here's Doman. Doman grounded to Pujols his first time up. Cardinals would love the double play. There's Adam Wainwright when you think of his curveball, and first pitch strikes 11-13. The big 12-6 bender. The fact that Molina will call it at any time. Runners on, nobody on, deep in a count, first pitch. As Carlos Beltran can attest.
And that's also a trademark too, that you have that catcher when you have a potential base stealer out there. Well, he just exclusively goes fastballs trying to protect his average. You don't win that way.
Hit in the air to shallow right. Holiday under it to make the catch. 2 outs. And even another factor, what you're talking about, some catchers don't like to call it simply for the fact that they get concerned about if it bounces to the plate and gets by them. So in this case, you would have runners advancing to second and third, and you never worry about that with Yadier Molina.
That's just, if you shouldn't be at this level if you're that concerned.
There was an article recently, though, that talked about that certain catchers at this level are, and they refuse to call those breaking balls.
And that would be with certain pitchers, because guys being rushed to the big leagues have very little command of any of their pitches.
2 outs and 2 on for Delwyn Young. Here's the curveball and a beauty, and therefore a strike. And it's another first pitch strike.
Young's a switch hitter, but by far left side he's 317 average. That is a very good pitch. Inside, because then you put that in the mind of a hitter. He's not going to dive across on that off-speed pitch when it's out away from him.
Another curveball, and that pitch previous sets up that pitch what you're talking about. So second time through at 258.
Well, what a difference. And then he gets even better the third time, 243.
And that'll be a fair ball. Pujols, Wainwright out of the jam. Pirates strand 2, and we played 4. Pirates and Cardinals scoreless. Gorgeous night here in Pittsburgh, at least thus far. Let's hope the rain stays away. In celebration of a Cardinals All-Star summer, Coca-Cola recognizes past and present Cardinals All-Stars who have participated in the Midsummer Classic on a collectible 3x5 banner for 25,000 fans ages 16 and older. That'll be next Friday night, August 14th. The banner features Ted Simmons, Albert Pujols, Stan the Man, Ozzie, Bruce Sutter, Bob Gibson. It's brought to you by Walmart and Coke Zero.
Ted Simmons will be in town that evening. Bench coach for San Diego.
Padres in town after the off day on Thursday. They'll be in town Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Schumacher. Here we go. Third time through the lineup. And Skip 1 for 2 on the night. Two and 0. There have been some pretty good players that have made their way through Pittsburgh that you really question why the Pirates gave up on some of these players or traded them away.
Other than money, you kind of wonder.
And I guess that's probably, Al, in the reality of this situation, probably the case. For some of these players, they envisioned them making money, or in some cases, some organizations will tell you, all right, we've got player A, we've got player B, we need to select one or the other. They say, let's say they go with player A, and player B winds up being the better player and maybe cheaper too. So here we go. How about some of these former Pirates? Jason Bay, Nate McLeod, Xavier Nady, Aramis Ramirez. That's the one that really stands out. Jack Wilson, Freddie Sanchez, Adam LaRoche, and Jason Kendall, who was here for years behind home plate. How about Ramirez, though, giving up on him?
Yeah, that was. And I will say that, the Ramirez wearing the Pirate uniform is a lot different than the more mature one wearing the Cubs uniform.
This is bunted in the air, but Colby's going to get away with it, and he's going to get a base hit. So a base hit for Colby Rasmus, and the first two have reached, and here comes Pujols again with runners at first and second time that he has had this opportunity.
Usually when you bunt the ball in the air, bad things happen, but in this case, because of his good speed and that LaRoche couldn't get to it, he makes a good play, but by the time he makes the exchange, Colby with that good speed gets down there with the bunt base hit, and here we go. Showed that graphic, remember, and it ended up the third time through the order. The second time, the Cardinals had hit him at a 400 clip. Third time through the order, it was about 343, somewhere in that vicinity. And you're already at 1,000 right now.
So here is Albert Pujols. No score in the fifth. We know about his numbers at this ballpark. First pitch is in. Matt Holliday is on deck and out to visit Domet. Pujols tonight has flied out to right and was robbed in a very fine play by Andy LaRoche with runners at first and second. Back in the third, he took a hit and RBI away.
Only 80 pitches thrown. See Wainwright very efficient at 57. But right now, Morton is in trouble. Third time through the order, you just get the feeling already the bullpen is starting to get up for the Pirates. Still a shutout, but for how many more pitches will it take before the Cardinals get on the board?
1 ball, 1 strike. After Charlie Morton, you're thinking, all right, I'm a double play away from, potentially getting out of this.
Yeah, but you better not throw any more hangers like that. See the outfield play not as exaggerated as yesterday because they have runners in scoring position. So Millage playing a little more off the left field line, but not as dramatic bunching out in left or out in center.
Here's a 1-1, and Pujols knocks it foul and off the mask of Tim McClellan.
Last 2 nights, they've always had their center fielder almost against every Cardinal hitter shading right field. See him out there just draw a line straight from home plate to second base and on, and McCutchen is shading right field. He has tremendous speed, and you would have to think that Millage has pretty good speed out and left. That's why sometimes when they're bunching, you feel like you had two guys covering the same area.
Here's a 1-2. Ooh, right on the pitch, fouls it back.
Albert, I think, will tell you, you should have done more with that pitch, but then Morton's going, okay, what do I do now?
And what a difference a week makes, too. This time last weekend, Pujols was not Pujols-like as the teammates of Albert's. Watch as Pujols has runners at first and second and nobody out. In the hole here, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2-2.
Albert seeing the ball pretty well. Those breaking balls, he just kind of not even offering.
One swing of the bat and Pujols could be at the century mark in RBIs on August 8th.
He's already the first player in Major League history to have 30+ home runs in every season to start his career, 9 straight seasons. You're about to add, like you said, the century mark to that total.
So now it's 3-2.
He's just not being fooled. And those breaking pitches that, a week ago he would have been out in front on, rolling over on a ball. He's just spitting at it.
Inning started with a walk to Schumacher. Rasmus squared to bunt, put one in the air, and eventually it landed down for his second base hit, an infield hit with the bunt. So first and second, nobody out, and a full count here on Albert Pujols. Here it comes, runners go. Ground ball left side. LaRoche tags out the runner going to third and out at first. And Pujols can't believe it, and that's a double play. A huge play midway in this game, started by LaRoche as Albert grounds into the double play. And here comes manager Tony La Russa. He wants an explanation of this.
Well, he started the runners, and LaRoche tags out Schumacher and then throws over to first base.
Looks safe, didn't he?
Yeah, he looked safe as he jumps for the bag. That's a good way to get hurt.
He is safe.
But Mike Estabrook, first base umpire, called him out, and Tony's on his way back to the dugout satisfied.
So a double play started by LaRoche, and what could have been a huge inning potentially. Now Charlie Morton and the Pirates are 1 out away from getting out of it. Rasmus in scoring position. The Cardinals have already stranded 6 tonight. Matt Holliday this evening has popped out to first and was called out on strikes back in the 4th. He's 0 for 2. It's LaRoche now in this homestand. We saw the other night against Arizona, had a terrific play in foul territory with a catch, their third baseman. He robbed Pujols earlier tonight and starts the double play, a big one in this game.
Even now, they have only committed 48 errors on the season, the Pirates. Conversely, the Cardinals 73.
1-0 pitch to Holliday. Ludwig on deck, 2 balls, no strikes.
The odd thing about that double play, it seemed like it would have been a lot more efficient for LaRoche to step on the bag and then throw across. But Schumacher was running on the play, got too close to him, couldn't backpedal quick enough. He did take a step or two to tag him and still had enough time to throw out Albert over at first.
And at some point, Schumacher would have been out of the baseline too, where he kept backing up towards left field.
Yeah, he tried to get out of the way.
2-2 of the story so far. The Pirates defense tonight When you think of the Pujols play back in the third to take that base hit away, that would have scored a run and given the Cardinals a lead. On the other side, it's been the pitching of Adam Wainwright. He's been very good tonight.
But Holiday on Friday nights has had 3 Friday nights with the Cardinals, 10 combined hits.
A couple of 4-hit nights. Holiday breaks his bat. LaRoche backhands, won't get it, and scoring on the play, Colby Rasmus to make it 1-0. Rasmus never hesitated on his way to third, comes around to score, and the Cardinals have the lead here in the 5th.
Well, Colby got a good read on it with 2 outs. He sees the ball right in front of him, and pretty good pitch. Jams Holiday, tried backhand. You can see that, and he doesn't hesitate. And you also saw Oquendo trying to set him. So once we paid attention to their defense, all of a sudden now it scored a base hit and an RBI, but a play could have been made, or at least if he knocks it down, they don't score.
Minimum, that's got to happen. So the Cardinals have the 1-0 lead, and now a chance for Ludwig, and that's RBI number 14 for Holiday. Ludwig has singled back in the 2nd inning and struck out in the 4th as he chased a breaking ball on the outside portion of the plate.
And they were going in early in the count. The first time I got the base hit was a pitch out away from him.
And he reaches for this hit to short. Cedeno across the diamond. Ludwig is 1 for 3 on the night. Holiday the RBI, his 14th, to score Colby Rasmus. 1-0 midway through 5. Mark McGwire hits his first home run as a Cardinal off Mark Leiter of the Phillies back in 1997. Our Schnooks this date in baseball history. 1997, Walt Jocketty and Tony La Russa told Mark McGwire, take in this atmosphere. We think you'll enjoy it in St. Louis. He loved it. Next year he had 70 home runs. The following season 65.
Sounds like a scenario we're hopeful again.
Cardinals have used that with some of the guys they brought in, no doubt. Try to convince them that this is the right place to play for them. You'll see again the upcoming homestand. While there are seats available, we're going to have huge crowds starting on Monday night with Cincinnati in town. 1-2 pitch to Moss, and a swing and a miss. 3 strikeouts tonight for Adam Wainwright.
This looked very sharp. He's just giving up 2 hits. They came in the 4th inning, but he's had that good consistent breaking ball tonight.
And it brings in LaRoche, who popped out to short. Wainwright is allowed 2 base hits. The Pirates have stranded 2. And the 2 hits was McCutcheon's infield hit back in the 4th, and also Garrett Jones on a 1-2 pitch single to right. Wainwright is now taking the lead in innings pitched in the National League. He has surpassed Tim Lincecum. Another beauty in there for a strike. 0-2. Curveball has been sharp, huh?
Been sharp. He's mixed in some cutters.
Set up inside and low, and he hits his spot right where Molina wanted it for the most part. 1 ball and 2 strikes. There's the curveball. It was foul.
Hanger, but it was bad enough to where it couldn't be hit. High enough out of the strike zone that all he could do was see it and try to offer at it, but couldn't center it.
You talk to the players about this ballpark, certainly from a fan's perspective. We always talk about it, the sight lines and the way it looks. The atmosphere could be better with a bigger fan base, but from a player's perspective and how they view it, they say it's just about perfect. Plays fair, the sight lines, the batter's eye.
Seemed like the batter's eye is a little bigger. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, fastball away. Fastball up and in for the out.
Pujols over in foul territory with room and makes the catch. Display your favorite Cardinal memories in this one-of-a-kind picture frame with attached Fredbird bobblehead. It's available to 25,000 fans on Sunday, August 16th. To purchase tickets, call 345-9000 or visit stlcardinals.com.
Bobble frame.
We have a frame, and then there's Fredbird, and it's a bobblehead attached to the frame. Does that help you out? Let me give you a little visual of what it might be.
Keep on going.
You have a frame. Okay.
I got it with the promo. It was pretty self-explanatory.
Attached to the frame is the bobblehead. There's a base hit into right. First pitch strikes for Wainwright, 15 of 17. By the way, that bobble frame is on August 16th, as we mentioned, against San Diego. That's also a family Sunday. And on family Sundays, you get the terrace or pavilion reserve seat and get a free hot dog and soda. So a great way to come to the ballpark. Bring your family, as there's also the ice cream Sundays 2 hours before every game on Sundays. Jeff Salazar getting 0-50, so he'll pinch hit here for Morton. Charlie Morton gives the Pirates 5 innings. 2 outs and a runner at first. Breaking ball and a strike. I was trying to guess ahead of Tim McClellan, since that's been a strike all night, and he called it a ball. I stand corrected.
It's very easy, isn't it, for that to happen? Salazar's contract was selected from Indianapolis on June the 30th. He hit 265 there with 10 home runs, 36 RBIs in 76 games, but 0-63, 1 for 16 against right-handers, 0 for 4 against lefties.
2 strikes on Salazar. 93 pitches tonight for Charlie Morton, and he has lifted from this game. He gave up 7 base hits and the RBI base hit to Matt Holliday. 1-0 Cardinals. Swung on and missed. Salazar strikes out. 2 in the inning, 4 in the game for Wainwright. That curveball is sharp tonight. 1-0 Cardinals. Of the 19 games remaining starting tomorrow in the month of August, 16 of the 19 are against teams below 500. The teams in blue there are below 500. The Dodgers, of course, above that 500 mark. We'll go to LA on our next road trip, and then 4 with San Diego. And the Cardinals have Pinheiro against Zach Duke tomorrow. Duke is 9-10, Pinheiro 9-9 on the year. And we return home against Cincinnati on Monday night. Our Chevy called to the bullpen. This is Chris Buchek in replace of Morton. A little surprising as Morton goes 5 innings, 93 pitches. Surprised they didn't push him just a little bit more.
I agree with you 100%. Now Buchek is just called up on Friday from Indianapolis, where he was 3-2 with 20 saves, and ERA at 3.30, 40 games. But their bullpen has really suffered.
Then DeRosa hits it in the air out to shallow center. Calling for it, Andrew McCutchen to make the catch.
Bullpen. When you look at the 8th and 9th innings since the John Grabo trade, we've allowed 24 runs in 27 innings. So this team has played pretty competitive until they got into late games, and then the bullpen is just collapsed. Buchek just selected, trying to give a little shot in the arm to him.
Here's Yadier Molina. Molina 1 for 2 with a single tonight. Cincinnati record-wise is not that much better than Pittsburgh. Cincinnati 11.5 games back, and Pittsburgh 14 games out.
Isn't that amazing how they have just fallen off the map?
Last time we saw them was at their place, and at that point in time they felt, and Dusty Baker even said it, he said, hey, it's going to be a 4-team race in his mind. St. Louis, Chicago, either Houston, Milwaukee, and he said his club. As Molina shoots one into left center for a base hit. So a 2-hit night for the Cardinal catcher, and it brings in Julio Lugo. And Cincinnati loses today, so the Reds with that loss are now 47 and 62. And as we speak, they are 12 games out. Here's Lugo, has walked and struck out tonight. Minnesota, Carl Pavano right back in the thick of the Central race. They lead Detroit. It's in the 6th. As Pavano was picked up from Cleveland.
So that Greinke starting that game for Kansas City.
He's fallen back. And that pitch is taken high. 2 balls and no strikes. The Cubs placed right-hander Carlos Zambrano today on the disabled list, as he has been dealing with back spasms. Zambrano warmed up for his start last night. He couldn't make it against Colorado. And Chicago and Colorado Rockies in the 3rd inning. There's no score. 3-0 on Lugo. Wainwright on deck. You go back to the 04 season, 05. The Cardinals starters rarely missed a start, and their starters would go deep into the game. In doing so, bullpen was rested, and that was a huge factor for the Cardinals down the stretch. Dog days of summer.
No doubt about it. You know, when you just have to, I'll just say, if you consistently, you know, like Adams giving you 21 straight starts, soon to be 22, going at least 6 innings. If your bullpen's only pitching 9 outs or less every night, you really have enough rested arms where you can cover those final innings. But if you're all of a sudden got to get 12 outs or 13 outs on a 2 or 3 times a week, you're gonna have a tired bullpen.
Adam Wainwright, runners at first and second, 1 out. Yadier Molina is the lead runner at second base. Wainwright punts it foul. And we talk about this a lot, but with Molina at second base, those middle infielders, real key job in the opposition is to keep him as close as they can to the bag at second base. And with his speed, you know, they can get that lead runner and possibly turn it into a double play too.
And for that fact, I would not be surprised after Oquendo talks to Wainwright that if he sees that big hole in the left side, you know, not be afraid to do the butcher boy, chop down on the ball and swing away.
Showing bunt again, and the 0-1 is bunted. Deadened perfectly by Wainwright. Only play for the pitcher Buchek is to go to first. The St. Louis Cardinals, the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, and Fox Sports Midwest have joined together to encourage young people not to smoke, because once you start, it's hard to stop. Strike out tobacco so we can all breathe easier. Call the Missouri Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Little things in a game mount up to victories. Can you help yourself by moving runners up? Seeing the Pirates not be able to do that, and the Cardinals able to execute fundamentals.
Schumacher on base twice tonight. First pitch taken low and in. He is singled tonight, back in the 3rd. Walked in the 5th and flied out to left to start the game. Cardinal leadoff man with Colby Rasmus on deck. Third baseman Andy LaRoche is even with the bag at third base. Big gap in the right center field for Schumacher.
How about pull one down the right field line?
1-0 pitch. Popped foul and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Lugo out there at second base, really watching, and he had a tremendous secondary lead as the middle infielders not paying any attention to him. Of course, he's got Yachty in front of him, but with 2 outs, he can kind of see, be able to get a real good jump.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Inside, 2-1. Rasmus, who's on deck, has picked up a couple of base hits tonight. And then you have Albert Pujols. Cardinals about hit the Pirates 8-3 and they lead it 1-0. The 2-1 to Skip Schumacher. 3-1.
Cardinals have already stranded 7. They have 2 more out there in scoring position. They need to come up with that timely hit.
Right now Buchek is just picking a little bit. Here's a 3-1 pitch. Outside and ball 4 to Skip Schumacher. His second walk tonight. And that's the second walk he has issued. And it loads him up for Colby Rasmus. Rasmus fly to center as a single and a bunt single back in the 5th. So 2 hits tonight out to visit Joe Kerrigan.
Kerrigan out to talk to his right-hander who does have a couple years in the big leagues with the Angels. Signed as a minor league free agent this offseason with the Pirates. Out of Auburn University.
So here we go. A good chance for Colby and the Cardinals to break this game open. St. Louis has stranded 7 already tonight.
Gee, you think you can get Albert up with the bases loaded?
Wouldn't that be something? 2 outs, bases loaded. First pitch to Colby Rasmus. He is taken for a ball. PNC Park is filled up and they want to see strikes. 17 pitches in the inning. 5 of those have been strikes. Here's a 1-0 pitch. 2-0. Well, if you're Colby Rasmus, you're in the driver's seat here. 2 balls, no strikes, bases loaded, and a guy named Pujols on deck.
You better be you better be exactly where you want it, and something that you better be able to hit very hard.
Outside 3-0. Nobody getting loose in the Pirates bullpen.
No, I mean, Buchek was called up on Friday. This is his first debut in the National League, and they want to see what he's got. Right now they're seeing he doesn't throw strikes.
And he walked him to bring up Pujols with the bases loaded. RBI for Colby Rasmus.
I think this guy's been pretty good with the bases loaded this year.
He hit his 5th grand slam the other night, Tuesday at New York, which was his 11th career grand slam. His career with the bases loaded, .414 average this season, 7 for 9 and 24 RBIs.
And isn't this his favorite ballpark to hit in?
2 outs. First pitch to Pujols.
There's a breaking ball for strike 1.
I think he sets guys up sometimes, and he would never tell you that, but I believe he does. You agree?
Yes and no. I think the guys that do will tell you.
0-1 pitch to Albert Pujols.
And we talked about how Buchek had 20 saves at AAA, and you look at some of these pitches and you go, AAA guys are going to swing. They'll chase those balls, but those breaking balls off the plate, but not here at this level.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Pujols tonight, fly to right, was robbed by LaRoche over third, with runners at first and second. And LaRoche started a double play his last time up back in the 5th. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
3 straight sliders.
Bases loaded for Pujols. And the 1-2 pitch. 2-2.
Trying to overthrow one.
looking for Grand Slam number 6 here in 2009 and his 12th career Grand Slam.
It's already the franchise leader in single season and career for the Cardinals in Grand Slams.
And here's a 2-2. Pujols rips it down the left field line. Fair ball into the corner it goes. 2 runs will score. Here comes Rasmus. He will score easily. And Albert Pujols with one swing of the bat, now with 100 RBIs here in this 2009 campaign. RBIs 98, 99, and 100 for Albert Pujols.
Dan is just amazing. Just slider, breaking ball after breaking ball, and you just can't do that to Albert Pujols or any major league hitter. And eventually you're going to pay. They play so far off the left field line that this is going to clear the bases easily with Rasmus's speed. And mentioned it, the first player in major league history to start a career with 9 consecutive years of 30 or more home runs and 100 RBIs or more.
And here is Matt Holliday. It's 5-0 St. Louis. Normally at this point in the game you see something like that and the folks at PNC Park would start to head for their cars, but we've got fireworks tonight. So 100 RBIs for Pujols. Holliday swung on and missed. And a 5-0 lead now for Adam Wainwright. With the way that he's pitching, you feel good about this game right now.
You feel very good. And of course Adam Wainwright will have to take the mound with the mindset that he's still in a 0-0 or a 1-0 lead. And he's got the cushion, but he's not thinking that way.
Just missed. Now Pujols with the bases loaded this year is 8 for 10, 27 RBIs. 8 for 10, 27 RBIs. Remarkable.
It's almost a third of his RBIs have come in those those RBI situations.
Inside to Holliday.
The bases loaded situation. He he kept on slider. He throw a 93-mile-an-hour fastball to Holliday inside, but trying to trick Albert. That's a mistake.
2-2 to Holliday. Hits it sharply to short. Cedeno makes the play. Big inning for the Cardinals as they played 4, and St. Louis midway through 6 has a 5-0 lead. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by AT&T. Switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. And by Taco Bell, your place to win tickets or a VIP ticket package to the Mizzou, Illinois arch rivalry game. Taco Bell. Andrew McCutchen, as Wainwright now has a 5-0 lead as we move to the bottom of the 6th. McCutchen got the first base hit for the Pirates back in the 4th, and they have just 3 tonight. Wainwright has been very efficient, and Albert Pujols with RBIs 98, 99, and 100 tonight. You talked about all the years straight that he has done it. Also tells you about a guy that has played through injuries and has stayed healthy in his career to be able to do that.
He gets banged up along the way, but he plays under control. And Wainwright now has fallen behind 3-1.
And once again, 8 for 10, 5 home runs, 27 driven in with the bases loaded this year. McCutchen up the middle for a base hit. He was ready for that 3-1 pitch. You can stop by the Westin and enter to get your chance to catch pop flies and win great prizes. For complete details, visit www.westinpopupchallenge.com or call this number, area code 314-621-2000. Second hit for McCutchen, and it brings in Lasting's Millage. Millage tonight is grounded out to short and also flied out to left. Slowly hit left side. DeRosa goes to second, out there, gets the lead man. Good play by Mark DeRosa. A risky play at that, too.
Yes, it is. But I mean, that's one of the guys, comes in here, and I think he's still thinking to first base, but then he sees where the runner is. Look how he has to throw across his body. Give Schumacher a little credit, too, because he's right there at the bag. And anytime you get that lead runner, that's a real plus.
You mentioned he was looking at first. It looked like he was going to go there all the way, and I'm sure out of the corner of his eye he saw McCutchen and felt he had somewhat of a chance to get him, and he takes that risky play and makes it work for the first out.
Still got the double play in order.
Here's Garrett Jones. Jones has grounded out to first and also singled in the fourth.
And that's one of those situations where the veteran's not afraid to make a mistake. He trusts his instincts and his body control that he can make that play and get at least an out.
Skip Schumacher was saying the other day, as he played on the World Championship team in 2006 and was part of the 05 team as well, that he feels this team very well could be better right now, and it really hasn't even gelled yet to where we've seen them click on all cylinders. And the Cardinals, as we showed you with the schedule upcoming, they really have a chance to get some separation for themselves before the final month and get themselves maybe a little breathing room in September because of the sub 500 teams that they play. They play a bunch. 16 of the 19 games left in this month against teams that are 500 or below.
There's no doubt. You've got to grind it out, and nobody's better than Tony and his staff to make players realize that. And with the off days, they should be well rested.
2-2. If you look in September too, Al, I mean, the Cardinals on the 10th, the 17th, and the 24th will have 3 consecutive Thursdays with off days. That is big.
It really is, but they paid the price early in the season, just having so many games without off days, and they'll benefit in the second half.
Hanging breaking ball driven into right field. And McCutchen stays put at second base, and now they've got him hung up. Millage, as he slipped going around the bag at second. And Millage slipped and went awkwardly into the turn at second base. He should be at third base.
Now watch this. Ludwig bobbles the ball out there, and then you see him struggling, losing his balance. Jones saw the play in front of him. He was more than halfway, but he scrambles back. Here, watch him picking up his third base coach, but he starts tripping around the bag, so he goes back. Then he sees the runner. Pirates are very lucky that they didn't run into an out.
So Jones 2 hits tonight, and here is Dobin. If Skip would have realized it, and it's a tough play for him, his back is to the infield, they would have had Garrett Jones between first and second.
And I'm sure Lugo or someone in the infield there is yelling at him, but there's no way he's going to see that play because, as you said, he had his back to it.
Domet chases a pitch out of the zone. We talked about the little things last night that they did not do as far as bunting. You looked at the Holiday steal, the ball that went into center. He eventually came around to score. Little things like we just saw just moments ago that cost a team that can ill afford to make mistakes. Here's an 0-2 pitch and a strikeout, number 5 tonight for Wainwright. When he gets support, look at this record, 12-2 this season when getting 3+ runs in support. 12-2 this year for Wainwright. And the team record 14-2 in those games.
He's 12-7. ERA of 2.79 coming in, and his 7 losses, his combined ERA was 3.75. There's guys that would take that for the season.
There's Delwyn Young, the second baseman, is grounded out twice to Albert Pujols at first. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Pops one foul and out of play. One ball, one strike. Doesn't seem like the Pirates have been very comfortable with some of these swings against Wainwright, so give him credit for that.
They look like a team that is a fastball hitting team, which is not uncharacteristic. Most of these guys hit the fastball well enough to get to the big leagues. But can they be truly big league hitters and hit the breaking ball?
Well, I think we've seen more breaking balls tonight from Wainwright than we've seen maybe all season long from him.
Yeah, and with this team, it makes a lot of sense, but you still have to throw enough fastballs to keep them honest.
1-2 pitch. Curveball again, misses. Two and two with 2 outs and 2 on. There's Chris Carpenter. Of course, he possesses an outstanding curveball. And how would you compare that curveball to the one we've seen tonight from Wainwright?
I think a lot of times, you know, that Wainwright's curveball is a get ahead breaking ball. It's a 12-6 breaking ball, where Carpenter has one of those too, but I think he utilizes his strikeout pitch as the breaking ball. He has a better cutter than Adam Wainwright.
You saw Pinheiro next to Carpenter. We'll see him tomorrow. And Pinheiro, we talked so much about his sinker, and I was visiting with Tony La Russa the other day, and he said that's all well and good. He said, but one thing that Pinheiro has done well this season is throw that breaking ball much better this year than in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, he's incorporating, and he also the changeup on top of it. And the interesting thing, when you look at Wainwright and Carpenter, you know, all of them are very similar in what they throw. But if you face Carpenter, it doesn't really help you facing Wainwright, because there's enough difference in the two that you know, you just don't feel like you're facing the same guy night after night.
Count is full, so the runner's off with this pitch at first and second. Jones and Millage. There they go, and it's pulled foul in the Cardinals dugout.
Pinheiro had to dive to get out of the way. Tony's got some work to do in that dugout.
It's tough to clean it up.
Pretty messy.
Three and two the count. The happy fan, thanks to Chris Carpenter, as he got a souvenir. 3-2 is slapped the other way, but foul. I'm sure the Pirates would love to play better baseball, but certainly on nights when it's crowded like tonight, give these fans a reason to come back. It's sold out here at PNC Park, and the pitch is popped up. DeRosa will give it a look along with Molina, and it's out of play.
I think the at bat here.
9 pitches this at bat for Delwyn Young. Brandon Moss is on deck. With the strikeout this inning, Wainwright has struck out 5 on the night.
Given him 5 hits, they've all been singles, and he hasn't walked a man.
3-2, another curveball pulled, and it is foul.
Wow.
Just foul. From our vantage point, looked to be on the line.
It sure did, but you see Mike Estabrook, and it's a good call. Good call right there. But, you know, Mike Estabrook, the first base umpire, turned immediately on that line drive, so he'd be stationary. If you go running, your eyes are bouncing. And I think he got a real good look at it, and no dispute from their first base coach.
Well, 10 of the 24 pitches to this hitter right here, Young, who's starting to dial in that curveball a little bit.
It's a 300 hitter from the left side of the plate, so he must be hitting some breaking balls on top of it.
3-2 pitch up the middle, base hit. Millage will score, and Rasmus's throw is bounced to short. And the Pirates get on the board. It's now 5-1. Young wins the battle here against Wainwright.
Fastball right at him. Another single, but this time it scores a run, and Dave Duncan out to talk to Adam, trying to get him through this 6th inning. Yeah, it's just a good at bat. Could have been right at somebody. Goes back up the middle, gets the base hit, but Brandon Moss looks like he is a good victim for that off-speed pitch from Adam right now.
So Moss is flied to left. He is struck out. He has 5 home runs this year and 28 RBIs.
Between Boston and Pittsburgh last year, he hit .246, 8 home runs, 34 RBIs. .247 this year.
2 outs, runners at first and third. We're in the 6th. 5-1 Cardinals. Strike one.
It's a cutter.
Saw him throw that an awful lot at the beginning of the season.
And to the point where he really like he was reluctant to throw the fastball.
And an 0-1 pitch to Moss. Here it comes. This is on the outside corner.
You know, you can have a team that is a good fastball hitting team, but it doesn't mean you cannot, stay away from that pitch. You still have to throw it, but just make sure you throw it in spots and throw it at the right time. Cutter. Curveball coming.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Blocked by Molina. Moss strikes out. We played 6 here at PNC Park. 5-1 St. Louis. Cardinals and the Pirates in Game 2 tonight here on Fox Sports Midwest. It's our Infinity Game recap as Adam Wainwright has struck out 6 tonight. He was robbed earlier by Cedeno. And Matt Holliday picked up the first RBI in the game. Albert Pujols with the bases loaded. Delivered yet again. He's now 8 for 10 with 27 RBIs and 100 RBIs this year. Chevy called to the bullpen. Those numbers with the 27 RBIs with the bases loaded. Chevy called to the bullpen, and Evan Meek is into the game. Evan Meek suffered a blown save in Wednesday's 4-3 loss to Arizona, and he has been scored upon in 2 of the last 3 games, 3 2/3 in that time frame. Called on April 25th from AAA Indianapolis and did not allow a run in his first 4 appearances with the Pirates. And Meek is in relief of Buchek. Buchek 1 inning, only gave up 2 hits, but he walked 3. And one of those hits, the bases clearing double by Albert Pujols.
And not a good National League or Pirate debut for Buchek, who was just recalled on Friday.
The 2-0 pitch to Ludwig. Ryan tonight has grounded out to short and struck out, and also singled as Tim McClellan calls out the training staff of the Pirates.
And either hit in the neck or high on the shoulder in this foul ball. Right collarbone, we believe. There's Brad Henderson.
With the Cardinals for a number of years.
Yeah, good buddy. Now the head trainer here for the Pirates. John Russell, a catcher by trade, out to see about Doman. where those the tools of ignorance or the tools of excellence, whatever you want to call it, you've got to be tough.
Two balls and one strike on Ludwig. DeRosa on deck, and then Yadier Molina. 5-1 Cardinals as we play here in the Cardinals half of the seventh. Cardinals with one run in the fifth to break open a scoreless game. The 4 in the sixth. The Pirates have come back with one of their own in the bottom of the sixth. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1.
And I guess the way they play their outfield defense, they will give up the doubles down each line, but they'll try and avoid the doubles out in the gaps and left and right center.
3-1 is fouled back. And the one thing is, when you look at this type of defense, and we talked about it last night, Andrew McCutchen can fly, and yet you bunch it towards the middle.
Yeah, to me, it defeats the purpose because you got two guys covering the same ball, and nobody can cover, down the left or right field line.
3-2 swung on and missed, and Ludwig strikes out. He strikes out for the second time. Keep an eye on the Rockies and Cubs, and that game is tied up 2-2 in the fourth, and really have to watch both those teams, not knowing where the Cardinals may wind up. The Rockies are in the wild card race, and of course the Cubs chasing the Cardinals in the Central. That time of year you start taking a look at where you're at in the wild card.
Cardinals are not in the wild card race because they lead the Central Division, but they would trail the Rockies, have the same amount of wins, but they have 2 less losses.
Good curveball that time. Buckled the knees of DeRosa. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Currently right now that San Francisco is taking over the lead in the wild card as they won today, and Colorado still playing.
And a 1-1 pitch. Fastball, then a strike. And think about San Francisco. They got in with Lincecum and Kane, how tough they would be to beat. Last pitch at 97 from this right-hander, Evan Meek. 1-2 the count on DeRosa. Mentioned that the Pirates picked up Freddie Sanchez, and $8 million option would have to be picked up if he gets to 600 at bats, which it looks like he will get to that point barring injury. And already the management team of the Giants, they have talked about that whether or not he gets to 600 at bats, that they would extend his contract anyway. They want to keep him in San Francisco.
And the Pirates are very happy with what they got in return.
2-2 is hit out of play. They got one of the top pitchers in their organization.
Yeah, Tim Alderson tossed 6 innings of no-hit ball and allowed just 1 base runner while making his second start at Double-A Altoona. He was in exchange for Freddie, and he's only 20 years of age. He's gone 8-1 with an ERA just over 3 at 3.09.
Into shallow center. McCutchen makes the catch.
Former #1 draft pick of the Giants.
And Evan Meek gets the first 2 as DeRosa is 1 for 4, and it brings in Molina. Yadi a couple of singles tonight. He's 2 for 3. He's also flied out to right.
Cardinals are 18-9 in his multi-hit games, and they're 5-0 when he has a 3-hit game. So let's see if he can get the 3rd hit tonight.
Strike 1 on the Cardinal catcher.
I quite remember Meek throwing this 96, 97 miles an hour.
No activity in the Cardinal bullpen. It'll be 7, 8, and 9 coming up for the Pirates in their half of the 7th. And Yadi shoots 1 foul.
22 consecutive starts. Adam Wainwright's got at least 6 innings. That's amazing. That will help your record. He's looking to become the National League's first 13-game winner tonight. So is Jason Marquis, who now has a 4-2 lead over Chicago.
You know, he would love to beat his former team. The Cubs had traded him away this year. And the Cardinals will face Chicago one more time. The Cardinals are done going to Wrigley Field. The Cubs will come to St. Louis.
And remember, the Cubs are 33-19 at home, but 24-31 on the road.
Big difference. They're in the midst of 17 of 23 away from home. Good breaking ball. Evan Meek carves up Molina. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Time to stretch in front of a sold-out crowd here at PNC Park. What's on Tap is presented by Bud Light. The difference is drinkability. The Cardinals and the Pirates game 3 tomorrow, and that'll be on KSDK Channel 5 and the Cardinals Television Network. Jay Randolph and Ricky Horton will have that call in game 3.
Well, Dan, it was former Cardinal farmhand Clayton Mortensen who made that his debut today against or tonight against Kansas City. 4 innings, 2 bombs, 6 earned runs.
And that pitch is a strike at the knees. LaRoche here, and on deck Cedeno.
Kyle McClellan warming up behind Adam Wainwright.
0-2 pitch. It's sharply to second, taken there by Schumacher, who looks very comfortable now at second base.
Plays perfectly. Hard hit ball, but he was right there for it. 105 pitches in the night.
Good ratio. 78 of those have been strikes.
See if he can't have a real easy 7th inning here as he's facing 7, 8, and one in a pitch hitter.
And a strike to Cedeno. I'll be interested in Wainwright's next start with all the curveballs he's thrown tonight, how he bounces back.
And a lot of times you don't want to throw enough fastballs to kind of keep that arm stretched out. Off-speed pitch.
DeRosa, 2 away. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. But again, the Cardinals with Wainwright have shown that they'll go deeper with him than anybody else. And Tony La Russa has talked about how, and Dave Duncan, how Wainwright gets loose. They say it only takes him 15 or 20 pitches before a game to get loose. So they consider every pitch just playing catch, and when you're on the mound throwing is wear and tear, and they take that into account.
I think he's almost gotten to the point now where it's a contest in his mind to see how few pitches he can throw. But I would think this would be his final inning of work. You got McClellan that's out there kind of shadowing him. He's scheduled to be the 2nd hitter. He's facing Vasquez here.
One and 2 the count. It's Lugo, Wainwright, and Schumacher due up for the Cardinals in the 8th.
Here's your leader for the Pirates. And it's pretty hard to be a leader when you are a bench player.
And a 1-2 in the dirt with that breaking ball. 2 and 2. Two-2 pitch. Driven into deep right center field. And that ball will one hop and go over the wall. It's touched by a fan, so a ground rule double by Vasquez.
Vasquez will be 33 years of age, by far the oldest player. And he's got 6+ years of major league experience, but he is now the leader of the Pirates as they have such a young club. Pitch up out over the plate and doesn't get away with it. is the 7th hit allowed by Adam, but with 2 outs, hopefully he can get McCutchen, who is 2 for 3 tonight. Schumacher coming in here as this is stalled to make sure, while McClellan's already walking in, so a part of a double switch as Tony's talking with the home plate umpire. So Ankiel will go out. He's going to replace Ludwig out in right field as part of the double switch. Kyle McClellan will be coming in. So Adam goes 6 2/3. He leaves with 1 runner out at second base, and the Cardinals have a 5-1 lead. Well, we're back here in the bottom of the 7th inning with 2 outs. There's a runner at second base, and Cardinals have a 5-1 lead. Adam Wainwright's numbers: 6 2/3, 7 hits, 1 run. It's earned. He is responsible man at second base. Did not walk a man and strikes out 6. Kyle McClellan will face McCutchen, who is 2 for 3 off of Adam. And Kyle has inherited 17 runners prior to tonight, and only 1 has scored. Second one off the plate, 2-0. As Kyle has a lot of outstanding breaking pitches that he can combat this young fastball hitting team.
2-0 pitch to McCutchen. Hit in the air. Last thing that he wants to do. Shallow center. Backing up. Schumacher to make the catch. We played 7 here at PNC Park. And the Cardinals have themselves a 5-1 lead. Top of the 8th rolls in, and the Cardinals lead it 5-1 here in Pittsburgh. And let's turn to the Hardee's prime cut of the game. Albert Pujols with the bases loaded. And he picks up RBIs 98, 99, and 100 this year. Pat Parrish, you got more on Albert.
Yeah, this is an historic night for Mr. Pujols. Team game number 112 tonight. That's the fastest he's ever reached 100 RBIs in his now 8+ year career, 9th year in total. 2003 was the fastest before that. It was 114 games, so he's done it 2 games quicker in 2009.
And that's saying a lot, obviously. It's quicker than those MVP years that he has had. And 2003 was the year that he won the batting title. So Pujols in front of this big crowd making history. Largest crowd this season here at PNC Park, a crowd of 38,593. This is Joel Hanrahan, the right-hander, in for the Buccos.
You see his numbers. He came over from Nationals with Millage in the Nigel Morgan, Sean Burnett deal on June the 30th. This is the 700th game played in the 9-year history of PNC Park, and the St. Louis Cardinals have won more games than any other opponent. They're 46-24 in 70 games, and hopefully on their way to another win.
Wainwright on his way to win number 13 if the Cardinals can hold on. 112 pitches tonight for Adam. 83 were strikes. He goes just shy of 8 innings. We talked about it at the top of the game this evening as Lugo will fly out to right. Make a case right now for Carpenter or Wainwright for the Cy Young Award. It is wide open at this point. There's no clear-cut favorite. I know a lot of people look at Tim Lincecum, but if you really break down the numbers, Wainwright and Carpenter are right there with him.
That's right. Well, they have a chance to tie the combination of Wainwright and Carpenter, tie Lincecum and Kane with 24 wins. If Adam and the Cardinals win this game.
Here's Ankiel, part of the double switch. Key moment in the game last night as Ankiel was pinch hit for by Tony La Russa for Khalil Green, and Green picked up a huge double off the wall and right, and that gave the Cardinals a lead. You would assume would be Khalil Green's role now from here on out is to be a pinch hitter from the right side for Tony.
Yeah, it was really nice to see. It tied the game, and see how much support he got from his teammates.
Excuse me, tied the game, and then the Cardinals then would take the lead. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out, and nobody on. On deck, Schumacher against Hanrahan. Pitch at 95. Hanrahan is the fourth pitcher used by the Pirates tonight. Morton went 5 innings. Buchek 1 inning. Meek 1 inning. He was solid. And now Hanrahan. 2-2. And Keel, a swing and a miss.
Hanrahan has a good arm. You know, he was served as the closer for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. Power guy, but has a pretty good cutter or off-speed pitch there.
Skip Schumacher with 2 outs. They're in the top of the 8th. Skip has walked twice. He has singled and also flied out to left. A pitch on the outside corner. I want to thank our fine crew here in Pittsburgh. Always fun working with these folks and the effort that they put into our telecasts. Strike 2 on Skip, nothing into the count.
Have a very high perch here, but it's always fun to do a game out of Pittsburgh. Terry with his fine work there. Just a beautiful setting and wonderful atmosphere, especially when it's full house like this. They don't get many, do they?
Nope. This is about it. Fireworks nights, promotional giveaways will get a little bit bigger than what they normally draw, but not much. 1-2 pitch. And I do mean this with all due respect. You and I were walking to have dinner the other night, and they were playing Arizona, and you look at the players that they feature outside the ballpark with big posters of the players that they currently have, and there's not one that's a household name right now for Pittsburgh. As Schumacher strikes out, and that sends us to the bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th here in Pittsburgh, and the Cardinals have a 4-run lead. It's 5-1. Time now for a Mercedes-Benz E-Class Attention Assist of the game. And a fine play here made by Cedeno to take a hit away from Adam Wainwright early on in this ball game. That was back in the 3rd. And Wainwright has a chance for the win tonight.
Dan, here once again, you talk about a guy or a pitching staff. Starters go 6+ innings. Wainwright in this case is 6 2/3. Everything falls in place. McClellan gets the final out of the 7th inning. Starts here in the 8th inning. Got a lefty warming up. It's like Miller.
And we saw this the other night with Jerry Manuel as Millage hits it over Brendan Ryan, who just checked in the game. And it's easy to second guess, but he had Stokes in, and the Cardinals then had lefties coming up. And Jerry Manuel went to his lefty. Now, in this case, it's a base hit. Makes sense. But until you see somebody get on, why not stay with that reliever until he proves to you he can't get those lefties out?
I agree with you 100%. And you said it at the time, and we kind of looked at each other, you know, and instead of trying to do all the matchups, wait till a guy gets a guy on base.
Exactly right. So a change coming here for the Cardinals. Appearance number 44 for Trevor Miller. Opponent's hitting 196, and lefties well below that. He has been so tough on the lefties. And you have Garrett Jones coming up, and then the switch hitting catcher and Ryan Domet.
Left-handed batters are batting only 104 against Trevor. This will be his 458th appearance since '03. That's tops among major league left-handers, and St. Louis is his 7th major league team. And a couple of those, he's hit a couple of those teams. He's been more than once with them.
Houston being one of those. So here is Garrett Jones, 2 for 3, a couple of singles, hitting .295 now in the year. He homered last night. Singles in the 4th and the 6th, and he grounded out first time up in the 1st. That's Millage over there at first base.
Garrett batting well over 300 against righties, but .239 against left-handed pitching. Kind of intriguing guy. You know, he's 28 years of age. fastest in franchise history to 10 home runs. Did that in his first 19 games.
Catch your attention. There's no doubt about that. And he's getting a chance to play.
And now leads all National League rookies in home runs with 12. And he didn't come to the big leagues until June 30th.
Here's the 0-1 pitch.
You didn't see that pitch at AAA either.
And you look at Miller, that last pitch at 74, and you're thinking, how is he getting people out? It's got that late break. It starts out at you if you're hitting from the left side.
And Dan, he struck out 15 of his last 32 batters.
0-2 pitch. And you look on the other side, the Pirates do not have a lefty in their bullpen. Not one.
And earlier in the season, they had 3 pretty good ones.
Popped up. Brendan Ryan, the shortstop, calls for it, makes the catch for the first out. Millage is back to first. And the Cardinals have a righty throwing right now in the bullpen.
Do have 2 switch hitters that are coming up here against Trevor. Only batting .235 against right-handers, .256 against left-handers, but all 6 of his home runs are against right-handed pitching.
CC Sabathia, 7 2/3 today. Yankees beat Boston 5-0. Day in which David Ortiz denied ever using steroids. Double play ball. Brendan Ryan stays with it. Out at second, out at first. 6-4-3. Good work by Trevor Miller. Sends us to the 9th. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light. With just the right taste, it never fills you up. The difference is drinkability. And by Bank of America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. Beautiful night here in Pittsburgh. Fireworks night and a sold-out crowd. 38,593. Hanrahan, second inning of work. And he'll get Rasmus, Pujols, and Holiday. 2, 3, and 4 in the Cardinal lineup. Colby tonight on base 3 times. And a walk, a single, and a run scored back in the 5th. He singled in the 3rd and flied out to center. Pujols, though, the big blow in this game. Bases loaded double in the 6th. Now with 100 RBIs.
Hanrahan was born in Des Moines, Iowa. Resides now in Frisco, Texas.
Don't look too far behind Albert Pujols, but Prince Fielder with 95 driven in this year.
Well, there was one stage earlier this week that Albert was trailing Fielder in RBIs.
And Rasmus skies one towards right center field. And Mark Reynolds of Arizona had a couple of home runs in their previous series against the Pirates. He's at 34 home runs. Albert at 36. And Pujols trails in batting average. Hanley Ramirez at 345, and Pujols at the start of play tonight at 327. We're thinking about the possibility of the Triple Crown for Mr. Pujols. Still a long way to go. Early stages of August. And the first pitch to Albert is strike at the knees.
You know, Dan, you look at his numbers compared to last season. Albert is one home run behind last year for the whole season, and 16 RBIs behind last year's total. Oh,
0-2 pitch. And Pujols swings and misses. He strikes out. Hanrahan went right at him. Hard stuff. And that is his third strikeout of the 5 batters he's seen.
Well, you know Albert's not going to concede anything, but it is a little easier to face him and be aggressive when you're trailing by 4.
You know, we're talking about the off days. You want to see Holiday because you've made the investment in him play every day down the stretch. And the off days for Pujols will be huge too. Dealing with that elbow situation he's dealt with all season.
And you know Albert is never going to try and beg out of the lineup, so he plays every day. And Holiday's the same way. They keep themselves in good shape, ready to play, anticipate to play every day, and no reason to take them out of the lineup. Might get a fight from both of them, wouldn't you?
Probably. They both want to play. Holiday shoots one out to deep left field, to the track, to the wall, and it's off the wall. Matt Holiday with a double off the wall with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th.
Last Saturday he had 2 home runs. Today he just has 2 hits and an RBI. But the deepest part of their ballpark is where he hits this ball. It's better than 400 feet. Straight away, center field is 399, but it jettisons out to 410 out there in left center where the bullpens are. And Thurston will come in here as a pinch hitter. There you see the 410 back there with the bullpen. That's the Pirates bullpen right there in the extreme corner.
2 outs and Joe Thurston with the runner at second. 5-1 Cardinals. Fastball misses. This, for all intents and purposes, probably should have been the role for Joe Thurston from day one, but out of necessity, he had to play third base. Or second.
Yeah, if Troy Glass was healthy, or even a David Freese, or forget that Freese made the ball club out of spring training, and you know after having some surgery he's back playing, and I think he's back at AAA now.
And Gloss has been shut down indefinitely.
No longer the shoulder, it's a bulging disc in his back.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Thurston.
That'd be a pretty good test, as Thurston's a pretty good fastball hitter. See if he can get one here from Hanrahan.
Trevor Miller sent us to the 9th, so he got the final 3 outs, and it was not an easy double play started by Brendan Ryan.
No, but it was a good thing that Brendan was squared up to that ball. As he took a little tricky hop, not playing it to the side, he gets the double play.
Cardinals trying to get some insurance, leading 5-1 here in the 9th. Check swing, and he went around. A strikeout at Thurston. Delwyn Young, Moss, and LaRoche coming up.
Going to the bottom of the 9th here in Pittsburgh at PNC Park. Coming up immediately after the game, of course, it is U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live. Jim Hayes and Jack Clark ready to break this one down. They'll have more on another milestone for Albert Pujols and Waino's summer surge. Plus, we'll take you inside the Cardinal clubhouse, bring you Tony La Russa's post-game thoughts as well. A sold-out PNC Park. Most of them, however, just waiting for this Sky Blast event, guys.
All right, Pat, thanks. And the Cardinals trying to get the final 3 outs here, and they lead it by the score of 5-1. Denny's Reyes into the ball game for St. Louis.
Not a save situation, and so Reyes will come in here and turn Young around to the right-handed side.
Delwyn Young, first pitch to him. Taken for a ball.
Reyes leads the ball club with his 52nd appearance.
Cardinals trying to send the Pirates to their 7th loss in a row and set up a potential sweep tomorrow afternoon.
And the 12th out of the last 14 games.
1-1 pitch to Young. Chased the ball. Strike two. Cardinals with a right-hander getting loose.
It's Jason Mott.
For the Pirates on opening day in St. Louis. And Jack Wilson beat Mott. Brendan Ryan up with it to make the play.
And Mott was not throwing as hard as he is throwing today. He was like 91, 92 instead of like 96 to 98. Tony will go bring in Jason Mott.
So Mott, the hard-throwing right-hander, coming in. Here's Jason Mott appearing for the 49th time for the Cardinals this year. Record of 3-4. And opponent's average has now dipped to 264. Strikeouts, you always take a look at that. He's got 34 in just about 40 innings of work.
You see that ERA over 5, and so it's been a learning experience. More pluses than negatives, but
Steve Pearce will be the hitter. Five to 1 St. Louis. First pitch in there at 97 from Mott.
that's what I'm saying. Opening day, he was throwing 91, 92. Didn't have much of a breaking ball. They were sitting on that fastball, but they can sit on 97, 98 and not catch up to that one.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. And another factor, too, of these starters going deep, and we talked about it, but a guy like Mott getting a little bit more rest than maybe he was accustomed to at the beginning of the season. And a byproduct of that rest is throwing harder, too. 1-1.
Cardinals have been 10 games over 500, but I don't think they have not achieved 11. They're trying to get back to 10 games tonight, but they've done it a couple times.
We're 17-7 back on May 1st. Two-two pitch. Pierce hits it down the right field line, but foul. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Steve Pearce.
Trying to find if Pierce can hit at this level. His batting average 228, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, and just 57 at bats.
3-2. Trying to see if he can catch up, too.
Yeah.
Fastball at 97. Three-two. 1 out walk. So 1 out walk as Mott has come in this ball game, and we turn to the player of the game, presented by Budweiser, Adam Wainwright. Nearly 7 innings of work for Adam as he gave the Cardinals 112 pitches tonight. 83 of those were strikes, 6 2/3, 7 hits, 1 run, no walks, and he struck out 6. LaRoche, strike 1.
They'll get Franklin up now as one more base runner. It becomes a save situation. Something you're hoping with a day game tomorrow you wouldn't have to do.
And a liner into left center field. And the catch made by Colby Rasmus. 2 outs. Here's Cedeno.
1 for 3 on the night.
And the final hold now for the Pirates. They trail 5-1. First pitch, a strike at the knees. Chicago has come back against Colorado. They lead it 6-4. That's in the 7th.
Ronnie was batting 167 for Seattle before the trade.
Strike 2. Last pitch at 99 on the gun.
And they just discovered the wave in Pittsburgh.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. One ball and 2 strikes. And Cedeno's trying to keep the Pirates alive. And he hits it out to left. Holiday looks up, and it's gone. A 2-run homer for Cedeno. Cuts the lead to 5-3. His 7th this year. It could be a hanging breaking ball.
Yep, that's what it was. You know, if you're throwing 91, 92, it's one thing. When you're throwing 99, you don't need to throw a pitch like a slider. It is not that good a pitch. And now they will wait for Franklin to give the okay, and sure Tony will make a pitching change and bring in his closer. Now he comes up the top steps.
Last thing he wanted to do was have to get Franklin up to throw, much less bring him in the game. But he will have to here.
And now Franklin doesn't mind because it's a save situation.
Ryan Franklin, the all-star closer, coming in. .43rd appearance for Ryan Franklin. His opponents are hitting .194 against him. He's got 25 saves and 27 opportunities. And certainly, Al, this is something that Tony La Russa did not want to do, is have to bring in his closer in this spot, but it's gotten tight as the lead is now just 2.
Well, Ryan picked up save number 25 last night. He's tops among major league relievers with his excellent ERA of 1.27. And you know, you need to win this ball game, so you've got to pull out all the stops. How to get how efficient he is. You'll take your chance any time with a 2-run lead, nobody on base, and only 1 out to get with Ryan Franklin.
Luis Cruz. 5 games this year. First pitch in there for a strike. What a year it has been for Ryan Franklin. 0-1 pitch. First pitch at 88, that pitch at 75, the breaking ball from Franklin. 5-3 Cardinals with 2 outs here in the bottom of the ninth.
Of course, Dan, you can't really think in those terms that what a year has been, because it'll be defined by what happens between now and the end of the season.
Off the glove of Franklin to first, and they get him, and the Cardinals take game 2. Sets up a possible sweep tomorrow afternoon. The Cardinals win it 5-3. The final here tonight. Big night once again for Albert Pujols. Stay with us. U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live is coming up.
Cardinals beat the Pirates 5-3. They climbed to 10 games over 500 for the first time since May 1st. Jack Clark and I are here to break this one down. Jack, first, your thoughts on this game.
Well, it's another big win, a very important win. And Albert, congratulations to him. Another 100 RBI season. He's unbelievable. And Adam Wainwright, just another step closer to that possible Cy Young.
How about that? A 13-game winner. Adam Wainwright first in the National League. More from Jack coming up. Plus, after last night's gritty win, the Cardinals looking to make it 2 in a row in the Steel City. And with Adam Wainwright on the mound, the Redbirds always have a chance. Could Waino continue his dark horse campaign for the Cy Young? Plus, on the anniversary of Mark McGwire's first game at Busch Stadium, we'll go inside the numbers with the newest Cardinal slugger. And we'll take you back to Pittsburgh for player reaction and Tony La Russa's post-game comments. Happy birthday, Cool Mo. DUS Cellular Cardinals Live is bringing funky, funky wisdom now.